Hello everyone, welcome back to the Ranger Ink YouTube channel. My name is Ty and I am your host for today's tutorial. Today we are using the Small Dylusions Art Journal. This one is in my collection and I have previous pages completed in here, but we have plenty of room to work in. I also have the newest colors released from the 49 and Market collab with Ranger. So I have Shamrock, Dress Blues, Engine number 9, Camouflage, Cold Brew, love that name, and Sangria. So these colors just remind me and come up a lot in the Nostalgic Memories collection. I have two Simon Hurley ink blending tools so that we can do a little bit of ink blending. And then the Nostalgic Memories, I'm already just have taken out of the packaging just so I can thumb through it a little bit, but these are the laser die cuts, some of my favorites in all of the collections. I mean, there's the cut work of the laser cutting anyway, and then for this collection, the photorealism of these roses and stamps and everything is just amazing. I have two stencils just to do some stencil work if we decide to. The ephemera and frames. I have the rub-on transfers. I have, this is the washi sheet. Sorry, I was saying that incorrectly. Chipboard words, the rub-on transfers with the doilies and the alpha, the 6x8 collection paper pack, and we have the laser cut ephemera as well. These doilies in this collection are just hands down just so beautiful. So we will be doing a messy background most likely, and then we'll be doing some paper layering. Okay, I went ahead and put my glass mat and surface on here, and I also have a piece of packaging. So what I want to do is use the inks and do a blended background just to add some color, and then we'll go in with the stencils and add an inky layer on top in two different colors. So let's get started. I do have to admit that I enjoy working in this smaller size Dylusions journal. Sometimes I know for beginners, the larger one with the bigger blank space seems intimidating, but this small one is quite approachable. And I highly encourage you to pick it up, especially when you have maybe a smaller amount of time to play. It's also a great size to work in. I am first just going in with the color Shamrock from 49 and Market. These are part of the new ink color release that is with Ranger. And I'm using the Simon Hurley stencil called Geo Leaves. I am going in next with the color Cold Brew. Gotta love that name, especially if you're a coffee drinker. You find the name very appealing. So in the same technique, just by laying down some ink on untreated pages, meaning that I did not prep my page with any gesso or anything on the page first. This is simply how the inks will react on this paper alone. So between ink blending, just straightforward in that kind of diagonal shape, and then going through a stencil, these Simon Hurley brushes are fantastic. So it's a simple technique, and one that I'm just showing you. You can do a base layer, add some stenciling. This is also a good time if you wanted to do some stamping to also do it, because you've added no texture to the page. What I'm doing right now is just using blue dress blues on my a media mat, and adding some water and using just a simple paintbrush to add some splatters. I'm simply going in with some blue. It is not a color found in the collection, but I find that the contrast will have it be a little bit more noticeable, depending on how much I start to cover it up. So here is one of the 6x8 papers that looks kind of like the library Dewey Decimal System drawers back in the library. I guess I'm aging myself, I'm dating myself. Yes, I am familiar with this system at the library, and this is how old I am. This was what we used at the library when I was a youngster. So I am using it to sort of bookend my layout in order for them to start complementing each other across both pages. I could have easily have maybe just stayed to one side of the journal, but I was already invested and went for a double page spread in this art journal. I am using the Dina Wakley media glue. This one is fantastic, I find, for when you are adding in thicker pieces of paper. The cardstock is a heavier weight, which is lovely when you are working in this. journal. The pages are heavyweight, but when you start adding to it, you'll realize that adhesive is quite important. So I'm just trimming off the excess of the page with my 9-inch tonic scissors from Tim Holtz. I love the long blades, and this one definitely makes it a simple process to cut off any excess from the 6x8 paper that I adhered. From here, I was still playing around with, what do I add next? Well, my answer was, let's add some crackle paste. So I am still working with the layered Geo Leaves stencil. This one comes with 3 layers to make the design very interesting from Simon Hurley. So I'm simply going in with the opaque white crackle paste, and that is a palette knife slash scraper that is also from Simon Hurley. All these tools just make doing mixed media slash art journaling very effortless and easy. So I will make sure to have all of these products linked down below for easy shopping. Now also they're in the set came this big board, which I am familiar with using, but there are also smaller knives that may be a little bit friendlier if you are new to using texture paste down a stencil. I'm adding just a little bit of interest also to the bottom, and this will all have to dry. It takes maybe 30 minutes. I think I came back to it, but do let it dry because that's where the true magic of this crackle paste comes, when you see all of the cracks in the paste. I was auditioning out some of the paper pieces that I already sort of wanted to use, but before I put down anything, I knew I wanted to come in with a few of these rub-ons. The rub-on transfers have got to be one of my favorite, second favorite elements from the 49 and Market product line. Those laser die cut elements are always my fantastic immediate add to cart when a new collection comes out, but the rub-ons are just simply fantastic. They melt into a page. They go on easily. They've really come a long way since the 90s and early 2000 when we used to scrapbook and they would dry out rather quickly. No, 49 and Market has mastered the rub-on transfers for sure. So I just added a few of the elements scattered around the page just for where I felt it would be an area where I knew nothing would block it. So it would definitely peek out from in between the things I started to layer on top. Now you heard me swoon over those doily laser cut die cuts, and I had to use a few. So here I am using one of almost like the borders. I had to trim off a little bit, but you do not fear. I do save off what I cut off for later on the opposite side. A few of the chipboard title pieces I will also be using, and even with this die cut right now, I am simply using some, what do we call it, like fun foam, just dimensional tape in order to put on the back. Usually I steer away from adding dimension in my art journal because it'll get rather chunky, but I think in this one so far, this is the first time I added any dimension, so I was okay giving the first bulky layout to this page. And I'm just making sure that I am not getting it in the seam, which is why you saw me kind of half fold it to make sure the leaves and stuff of that die cut did not get caught in the seam of the signature. Again, just adding some fun foam underneath the title piece too, because some of it is laying on top of that die cut, and the rest that's carrying over, I just wanted to make sure it was on the same level. So I made sure to add enough fun foam for it to be all layered. You can just see I'm assisting it a little bit by keeping pressure while the glue dries just a little bit. And here I am just adding some dollops and knowing where I wanted to add it just a little bit, where it would peek out from having my next cluster be more on the bottom right, while this one was on the top left. This is also just what I like to do, especially like most of the time, yes, I would do a single-sided art journal page, but in this instance and with the size, it was just best to make it be cohesive together and for them to have a lovely communication between both pages. And since the collection provides that harmony, love it, love it. And now I'm adding one of the flower bouquets from the laser die cut, again with the mixed media glue from Dina Wakley, and it is just beautiful. The illustration of the flowers are just beautiful. I will finish off this one with a gold splatter from Fossilized Amber from the Spritz line from Tim Holtz, and this one will come together quite lovely. Okay, that will finish up my 2-page mixed media art journal layout. I love that I add the dimension with some of the fun foam behind it. We have a lot going on, rub-ons and stamping and inking, and then the layers of ephemera. This collection is gorgeous. That illustration of the flowers is just amazing. And then we finished it off with just gold splatter from Fossilized Amber was that finishing touch where you can kind of see where the splatters happen. And that paper too, the vintage old world, you know, almost like how do you call it, like steampunk, very almost like, you know, very like a Tim Holtz vibe I also find from it. And then the green just definitely pops out. I'm sure any of these colors, if you use them, like that engine number 9, maybe not, it's still a deep red, so I mean it would pick it up, but also that sangria, where's that purpley color? Here it is. I was going to use that too. That deep wine purple like picks it up too, so even if you use that in the back. I went with the green, but the navy would work too, just as like a complementary deep jewel tone could work. So a lot of these would be great. And we went in with, which was the green that I did here, camouflage and shamrock, and we did cold brew. So those were the final 3 that I selected. And then the crackle paste did wonders too, just to bring up some white, but you could see how great it crackles underneath there. And I thought about doing some ink blending on top, and I did it a little bit here, but it took away from everything. So I'm happy I steered away from making it a colorful crackle paste right there. Everything will be linked down below in the description box, everything from the inks to the collection I used, and I'll put the journal in there too, just so that you have easy shopping. And so they each could be standalone projects, but I love that they complement each other. So thank you so much for joining me. Give this video a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the Ranger Ink YouTube channel and hit that bell notification, and you'll be informed whenever Ranger uploads a new video to the channel. Until next time, my friends, bye!